What's going on, everybody? It's March 23rd here in South Central Wisconsin. I got a little bit of free time today after work, so I'm coming out working on a little habitat work. So my objective today is I'm coming in this area up close to the house. Used to be all pine trees in here that we ended up logging maybe 7-8 years ago, but we got a lot of different you see brushy stuff coming up. A lot of this is pussy willow. There's also a lot of red osier dogwood here. So this area is up, like I said, up close to the house. We got a lot of activity right here, so this isn't really a great spot for deer hunting, or deer even hang around in this spot. So kind of repurposing a lot of this pussy willow and dogwood, and I'm gonna end up planting it out in the marsh. So all I'm doing is I'm coming in here. I got a little snips, as you can see, and I'm looking for these shoots that are about the size of a pencil, maybe a little bigger. I've heard guys have had a lot better success with the smaller, the skinnier, the better. But what I find is where I'm going to replant these is it's reed canary grass in those areas, and the canary grass gets real tall and it falls over late summer, early fall. So trying to get something that gets up a little bit higher and can compete with that canary grass. If something's only a foot long, I'm going to have to mow around it or spray around it to try and ensure that that canary grass doesn't shade it out and choke it out. So all I'm doing is I'm coming in here and I'm snipping off right towards the bottom, and I'm just cutting it, but I'm cutting it at an angle, and it's very important that you cut it at an angle, because if you have a blunt end, they don't seem to grow as well. They don't take off. I don't know, I've never had luck, but angle, it makes them easier to stick into the ground, and they seem to transplant a lot easier. But this is a great time of year to do this. Like I said, I got a couple weeks yet before trees come, so it's a good time to come out and cut maybe 1,000 shoots and stick them out in an area. And I'll show you guys where I'm going to be putting them when I get a couple cut here, and I'll run them out back and kind of explain where I'm putting them and why I'm putting them there. Alright, so I made it out here in the marsh, in the area where I want to start planting this dogwood that I just cut. I cut about 150 of them, so just give you a quick rundown of why I'm planting them here. So as you can see behind me here, this is a pond, pretty long pond. I don't know, maybe 75 yards long. The ditch actually runs quite a ways further, all the way over to that field over there. But long before my parents bought this, which they bought this property in 2008, somebody had come out here and dug multiple ponds and ditches. So what that has done is, one, it's created great wildlife for waterfowl. Ducks love it out here, as you can imagine. But what it also has done is it's created high points out in our marsh. So as you can see here, this is just regular canary grass, kind of runs into our cattail marsh. But right where I'm standing here, and right where I got these trees, which are all swamp white oak that I planted 3 years ago, is it's created these high points. And these high points, it's dry. It's a great spot for deer to bed and transition. So this high point here kind of wraps, right here behind the four-wheeler through my tree tubes. You can see there's a ditch over there and another pond a little further over there. But this ditch basically wraps and encircles the entire pond, or the entire property, excuse me. So what I'm trying to do is create this good chunk of bedding out here in the middle of the marsh. My intention is that, the bucks would bed out here, the does will bed closer to the food sources, which are, egg fields there, egg fields over there. So I'm kind of creating this bedding in the middle of the property, because we are surrounded by egg fields, and I do have a couple food plots off in that direction. So good thick area. I got trees started. Someday they'll have acorns, swamp white oak, planting dogwood, thickening it up around them, giving them browse, giving them water around, and not too far from food. So that's my mindset, that's my plan out here. So I'll get to work and start sticking some of these dogwood into the dike here, and hopefully in a couple years this is a nice thick area. Oh, all right. Say about 15 minutes to cut them, 20 minutes to stick them in the ground. See, I got some behind me here and stretching up back here to the south. And I got some here, so I'd say I probably planted, maybe a 30 foot wide strip, and I'd say it's at least 200 feet, and then I had some coming up here out to the east, so maybe 300 feet total. But yeah, worked out good. Still a little bit of frost in the ground. You kind of got to find spots where it's a little bit of a dip, where the rain and the water kind of settled, like in the berm, kind of created that soft spot. The higher stuff, the knobs on top is still a little bit of layer of ice in there, but I found that the earlier you do this, the better. If there's any sort of bud even starting on these dogwood, I've never had luck planting them. So right now is the time to get out there as soon as you can stick them down into the ground. Get out there and stick them in. I mean, this cost me nothing. A little bit of gas for the four-wheeler, and maybe 45 minutes of work tops. So give it a shot. Hopefully the canary grass doesn't choke these things out, and create ourselves a nice little area for bedding, deer bedding, and transition area in the years to come. So that's about it. I think dinner bell's calling my name, so that's it for this video. We'll catch you guys in the next one.